Hey, what is up guys? How are you doing? Welcome back to Rule of Two Review. So today I have a couple of quick Nintendo Switch related stories that I wanted to discuss with you guys today, centered around two pretty hotly debated games. So first off, let's talk about Destiny, which is something that I'm initially very excited to talk about because, controversial as it may be, I really like the first Destiny game, and I'm very excited for Destiny 2. I think that it's going to be really fantastic. I don't want to spend too much time really diving into that on this video because it's not really about that. But I will say I watched the entire reveal event that happened last week where they spent, a little over an hour discussing the game, showing off the first gameplay, detailing some of the changes they've made to like the format and structure of the game. And in a lot of ways, it's not doing as much different that I would have really liked or expected. Like, not having a new class in the launch version of the game, I think is kind of a huge mistake. But everything else they're doing seems really exciting. It's kind of a shame that the aesthetic is almost identical to the first game as well. I think that's what's giving people kind of the impression that it looks almost more like just another expansion to the first game. And maybe this is stuff that should have just already been in the first game. And I feel like a lot of that could even be true. I think there's actually a case for that. But when I step aside from that and think of how much I love the first game, how great the gameplay is, I feel, how much time I put into it, and the fact that I get to do it all over again, starting brand new with a whole new game structure, I have to admit I'm pretty damn excited. That being said, that's not what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, of course, because we need to discuss Destiny 2 and the fact that it is confirmed to not be coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, when Destiny 2 was first confirmed to be a game, whatever, probably 5, 6, 7 weeks ago, I did make a video where I discussed why I thought it was a mistake for them not to be releasing the game on the Switch. And to be fair, at that time, it wasn't 100% confirmed it wasn't coming to the Switch, but when they just gave us, like, the teaser image of the game, they only, of course, noted the PS4 and Xbox One. That is when they did confirm and announce PC was going to happen, which was a very big deal. And since there was no Switch, discussed at that point, I was like, okay, this is basically telling us that it's not going to come to the Switch. Sure, we could have kept our hopes up, and in the back of my mind, I was like, maybe it happens, but I wasn't kidding myself. Hopefully you guys weren't as well. It was never really going to come to the Switch, and that's too bad. But I did discuss why I think it was a huge mistake, and the fact that I think there's a huge market. I think a game like what Destiny is has a whole new, kind of arena opened up to itself when you imagine being put on what the Switch is, a portable console that goes with people anywhere or allows them to play on their TV. It's like you guys are very potentially missing a huge conglomerate of gamers and a huge gameplay opportunity for your brand new game that I think not only would make gamers happy, but probably make you guys a whole bunch more money than you're already going to make. And who doesn't like more money? Exactly, so it was really a shame to realize that that wasn't going to be happening. So a few days ago, the project lead for Destiny, working with Bungie, whose name is Mark Noseworthy, fantastic name I have to say by the way, he was again speaking with IGN. They asked him a couple of questions about the game coming to the Switch, where he confirmed that it wasn't, but still said some stuff that gives us a little bit of insight, and that's what I'm quickly going to talk to you guys about today. Here are his quotes and what he told IGN when discussing Destiny 2 on the Nintendo Switch. I think it's pretty unrealistic, given we're an online-only game, right? It's incredible, I love the console, but in terms of where it's at, I don't want to leave anyone with the possibility of like, it's a thing we'll consider maybe next year. There's no plans right now for Switch. So there you go, pretty clear cut. A lot of people have already discussed this. I'm actually a couple of days late on this because I've been so busy with other things. So you've probably even heard this, and there's a more extensive quote where he discusses the fact that he really likes the Switch. He has his Switch with him even during this interview. He loves Breath of the Wild. He's got nothing but good things to say about it, which I have to say that I absolutely believe. I mean, I think you'd be hard-pressed to believe any developer or anyone in the industry worth their salt who understands anything about gaming could possibly think that there's any major problems with the Switch. It's a great console, and yes, I mean, there's things you can pick apart about it. I'm not saying that's not true, but as far as someone understanding it's a great product that people are enjoying, it's selling well, and if you make games, you should consider putting some product of yours on the console at some point. That's what I mean. You'd be hard-pressed to think anyone doesn't believe that. So when he says these positive things about the Switch, I tend to believe him. I don't think that he's necessarily blowing smoke up our skirts. But he is not beating around the bush when it comes to Destiny 2, and he states the game is not going to be coming to the Switch pretty much ever. He says everything but that exact thing. It's not going to happen. He's like, I don't want anyone to think it's going to happen next year. It's just not something we're looking into. And there's been some talk and controversy about the fact that he basically states it's because the game is online only, and what's going on with that. So here's my thoughts on this. When he says that, you know, hey, we're an online-only game, it doesn't really make sense to put it on the Switch, right? I both understand that and completely disagree with it. Now, the reasons I understand it is when I started even talking about Destiny 2 on the Switch a couple months ago, whenever I made that video, it's probably like 5 or 6 weeks ago, and even discussing other certain kinds of online heavy games coming to the Switch, my guess, as someone who really only kind of understands the tech spec stuff, you guys know that, when I think about an online network to the extent that a game like Destiny would require, and I think about how the Switch is designed and the fact that people could pick it up and take it anywhere on the go and all these different things, it's like, you know, obviously the Switch is made to be played even online in various different settings away from your home, absolutely. But I think that it is going to provide, I thought that before, I thought that when Destiny 2 came out, and I'm kind of thinking it more now hearing him say these things, I'm sure that there is something to be said for the fact that certain kinds of online heavy network games might not really be made to work with what the Switch requires. There certainly could be a barrier. Again, saying this as someone who doesn't develop games, I could believe that there might be a certain barrier for certain levels of online requirements that make it really hard to make a game work optimally on the Switch. Optimally is the key word here, because making a game work in a half-assed fashion would be one thing, but does anyone really want that? Maybe a game that's very focused on what that network is supposed to be able to provide and the amount of reliability you need out of it really is going to clash with something as extensive as a Destiny. A game that, without question, could not possibly operate without being online. It gives you almost no gameplay functionality or gameplay perspective without being connected online. And the fact that it uses online in terms of always working with other people, always running into and playing with other people, different than how certain other games might always be connected online for maybe exchanging like messages with people or leaderboards, as opposed to always being online with other players at all times. And there might be so many different variables of this person's at home, this person's at a Wi-Fi in McDonald's, this person's is at Wi-Fi at their friend's or their parents' house, this person is using a mobile hotspot in their car while driving across the country, and you try to get those 4 or 5 people in the same game, on the same fire team, going through the same raid. I could believe that something like what Mark Noseworthy is trying to say could be true, that it's too hard to imagine that kind of online network being completely reliable enough across the board for anyone who could play this game specifically on the Switch. I'm sure that there's some truth to that, guys, and I hate to admit that, and I am saying that based only on my vague knowledge of kind of how this stuff works, but I've been playing games long enough to understand I think that there's something to that. And it's a shame, but there's another angle to this also. That other angle is, at the end of the day, is it also probably possible to still make most games, even like a Destiny, work on the Switch? Probably, yeah. I mean, I really think that it still could happen. If they have to sacrifice certain assets or certain things to make it a reliable network that works in all these settings, okay. Or even more than that, I would have to think that, you know, you could probably just make the game so that you can only play it when you're at home. Maybe it's one of the few games that has to be designed in such a way, if Nintendo gamers want it on their Switch, where you have to be connected to Wi-Fi only. And there's no other way around it. You either got to be at home or someone else's house connected to a Wi-Fi router with a certain threshold of internet connection that the game has set by default that you have to be meeting when you log in to be able to play this game. You know, set some sort of uniformed, ubiquitous standard across all of your servers for the Nintendo Switch version so that it could work. And maybe some gamers have to sacrifice a small portion of the portability to play a game like what Destiny requires. Like, I feel like, you know, there'd be a small amount of backlash at first if it was announced that way, but I think people would ultimately realize that's fine. At least we get this game on the Switch. So, and there are a lot of games, you know, that really do rely very heavily on online play. And we know that Splatoon is going to be able to be played anywhere online. And Dragon Quest 11, I think, is the new one that apparently has a bunch of online modes or is always online. That's going to be working on the Nintendo Switch. If Call of Duty comes, which I believe it will, that's a game that has a huge online focus. It's going to be playable on the Switch. Like, there's obviously ways to make these games work. There is a difference with Destiny 2. It's a 100% always persistent online MMO type of universe and structure that's different than Dragon Quest 11. That's different than even games like Splatoon and Call of Duty. Yes, it is different. So that's where the gray area comes in. And as much as I think it's unfortunate that they're coming at it from this angle and that they're giving us what feels a little bit like an untrue answer with the online only thing being the barrier here, you know, it still makes sense. It's a gray area. It's unfortunate. Maybe this can be rectified in the future. I'm sad Destiny 2 isn't coming to the Switch, but I'm not ready to completely crucify Bungie and Mark Noseworthy over what they said about the game. Okay, and let's really quickly touch on this crazy thing that's been developing about that one game we all know about, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, the weird, rumored Ubisoft Nintendo sort of team-up thing that's been making the rounds for a couple of months. I discussed it recently, and I've even brought it up a couple of times how I have, since my video discussing if it made sense for this game to exist, I have discussed with people who are in the know, that I've talked to and have shared things with me, that I knew that there was some things that are starting to lead to this game probably being real and coming out, and now all this stuff is coming out, and it seems like this game is actually a real game, and there was this leaked promotional art that you're looking at here in the video that makes it look like this game is real. So this is pretty crazy to see this happening, and like I said, I did see this art and other art that has shown some pretty cool things about a month or two ago. Like I said, it was shared with me, and I don't want to discuss any more of what I've seen, and obviously I'm not going to talk about who has shared what with me, because that was all shared in good faith, but this definitely is lining up with some things I've seen. Now, here's the tricky thing, you guys. This is basically being reported as leaked and confirmed, basically confirmed somewhere. One Nintendo site even stated that Ubisoft themselves already had confirmed this. I checked right before recording this video, and in less than an hour before I'm recording this, I checked with IGN, who's really going to be the biggest gaming journalism site in the industry, and if anyone was going to say it's confirmed fact, yes or no, it would be IGN. And IGN is reporting on this, but they said they've reached out to Ubisoft for comment, and Ubisoft has not yet gotten back to them or officially confirmed the game. So as of right now, it's not totally confirmed as far as the public perception is concerned. Ubisoft or Nintendo has not yet outright said, this game is real, this art is real, these images are real, and all these things. But it's pretty crazy to see. I think we're at the point where, again, combined with the stuff I've seen and the people who I've talked to behind the scenes and what other people obviously know, and these rumors and this art has existed for a while behind the scenes, you guys, and now it's coming out like a big deal, and IGN's reporting on it and all these things. I mean, obviously we can probably assume that this game is going to be real. Now, what I will tell you that I don't know is I don't know what footage out there might exist. I will tell you I haven't seen anything as far as moving footage of gameplay. Moving footage, I have not put my eyes on at all, so I don't really know what the status is with that. So that's probably going to be the real telltale sign on how real or unreal this thing is going to be. I've been talking about it in my E3 predictions video. I expect we're going to see this game revealed at E3, you guys, and this only just further confirms what's been going on, what people have been talking about. The fact that the Snowdrop engine and all these things apparently are being used. It's very interesting to see this game actually start to really materialize in the public eye, you know, and I feel great that I can finally just discuss actually on a video that I have seen some of the stuff behind the scenes. This game is confusing to me, and because I haven't seen actual game footage, not only just to confirm without a shadow of a doubt how real the game probably is, but also just to really kind of dissect the gameplay and determine if this even looks like a cool game or not. That's what's confusing to me. Like, I still am mixed on whether or not I like this idea. The art looks interesting. It's very appealing. It catches your eye. It's very fun. I think the Rayman universe and Rayman as a character is great. I really don't care too much about the Rabbids, so I think this whole thing is just still a weird, fishy idea. I really hope that when we finally see gameplay with what we assume will be E3, that it does actually look really cool. But if you remember what the descriptions were that were being posted online, initiating with Emily Rogers, the whole weird Tutoro, like, spinning disc that, like, carries you throughout the worlds, and you don't actually control your characters. I don't know what's going on with that, guys. We still don't have the concrete details. At least anything that's reached me has not shown me those details. Other people and other folks may know things and have seen things, and we'll have to kind of see how this whole weird thing plays out. I feel weird talking about something that's so much been a rumor and now this leaked. It's like still leaked, but also confirmed at the same time, so it's in a really weird space right now, you know? But because I've talked about it, I felt comfortable bringing it up one more time in this video today, talking about two big Nintendo Switch game stories. And I don't know, I just would like to see this game actually look good, actually look appealing, and actually make sense. Because right now, I don't necessarily think it makes sense. You know, some people talk about, is it got an RPG kind of feel? Is it a tactics kind of feel? Is it going to be like a Paper Mario or Mario and Luigi type of gameplay? Is it going to be something completely different? They have arm cannons, so is it a shooter? Is it an RPG? Is it a platformer? What the hell is going on with this game? I don't know. All I can tell you is that I've seen this art weeks ago. I've seen other art that is very convincing as well, and I expect this game is going to be getting gameplay and an official reveal from Nintendo or Ubisoft at E3 in just a couple of weeks. So we'll see if IGN and GameSpot and the bigger, more reliable guys start officially telling us that they've heard from the companies in charge of this game and have finally been told from them that it's something real and that we can all start talking about as absolute fact. Right now, we can't treat it as 100%. At least I can't, again, because I haven't seen gameplay footage. I've seen stuff that maybe is non-moving pictures of the game, but I haven't seen anything that's moving gameplay. So we can't talk about it as 100% fact. To me, it's like 98% fact as far as I'm concerned. So, weird story developing around Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, you guys. So, I'm going to wrap this up here. I definitely want to hear you guys talk about these two stories below. I mostly talked about Destiny because it's more immediately interesting to me, but Mario and Rabbids is pretty crazy as well, and it's a big developing thing right now, so I want to hear you guys discuss these two things. What Bungie said about not bringing the game to the Switch because of online? Does that make sense to you? Does it make you angry? Do you agree with it? And Mario and Rabbids, what do you think about what's been happening today with this game? Do you want it? Do you not want it? Do you believe what's happening, or are you still in denial? Talk about these games and the Nintendo Switch craziness below. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I will catch you next time on another video.